Revolution, 1989, The Fall of the Soviet Empire. Based on the book by Victor Sebastian. For more than 40 years, the world lived under the shadow of a war that never truly happened. The United States versus the Soviet Union. Capitalism versus communism. Two superpowers armed to the teeth, locked in a global struggle. But in 1989, something unexpected occurred. The Soviet Empire began to collapse, without a single shot fired against the United States. In this video, we will explore how the Soviet Union fell and how US strategies played a decisive role in that collapse based on the book Revolution 1989, The Fall of the Soviet Empire by Victor Sebastian. After World War II, the world was divided into two opposing blocs. On one side, the United States, defending capitalism and liberal democracy. On the other, the Soviet Union, imposing communism and authoritarian regimes across Eastern Europe. Countries such as Poland, East Germany, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Romania were kept under Soviet control through military force, censorship, and fear. But maintaining this empire came at an enormous cost. One of the most powerful American weapons during the Cold War was not military, it was economic. While the Soviet Union poured vast resources into weapons, propped up failing satellite states, and struggled with an inefficient centralized economy, the United States invested heavily in technology, innovation, global trade, and consumer prosperity. Through the arms race, the US pushed the Soviet economy beyond its limits, forcing Moscow to spend money it simply did not have. The result was a silent but devastating economic collapse. The Cold War was also a psychological and ideological conflict. The United States understood that it did not need to conquer territory. It needed to win minds. Western culture, music, movies, and broadcasts like Radio Free Europe exposed life beyond the Iron Curtain. Meanwhile, Soviet citizens faced food shortages, censorship, repression, and a lack of basic freedoms. Slowly, communism began to lose legitimacy from within. The year 1989 became the breaking point. Mass protests erupted across Eastern Europe. Communist governments fell one after another. And the Soviet Union no longer had the economic or political strength to intervene militarily. The fall of the Berlin Wall became the ultimate symbol of this collapse. The United States did not invade. The Soviet system simply imploded. Mikhail Gorbachev attempted to save the system through reforms such as perestroika and glasnost. But as Sebastian explains, these reforms only accelerated the end. By allowing openness and limited freedom, the Soviet leadership lost control. Nations demanded independence. The empire collapsed from the inside out. The United States watched, patient, strategic, and restrained. In 1991, the Soviet Union officially ceased to exist. There was no direct war, no American invasion, no traditional military victory. The United States won through strategy, not force, economic pressure, political isolation, cultural influence, and long-term strategic patience. The fall of the Soviet Union remains one of the most important turning points in modern history. Understanding this process is essential to understanding the world we live in today. This video was based on the book Revolution 1989, The Fall of the Soviet Empire by Victor Sebastian. If you want more content about the Cold War, geopolitics, global conflicts, and power strategies, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate notifications. Because here, you learn how power truly works.